Okay, October 6th, 2019, George Webb here at beautiful National Stadium. Nationals lose tonight to the LA Dodgers, but lots of great research today. We're really honing in on how Hunter Biden and Paul Pelosi were used as frontmen, and now they're companies, the CIA cut out companies that actually laundered money, energy money, dark energy money, ill-gotten energy money, into implements of war, into weapons for Libya and Syria specifically, and then how they then laundered the money in energy partnerships when they got after they took over Libya, and they were not successful with Syria. Joe Schmitz we've talked about in our series, Dimitri we talked about in our series. We've talked a lot about Victor Pinchuk, and now we're going to be coming up into a guy named Kolomoisky, Kolomoisky. We mentioned him earlier this morning. He's the guy who keeps getting 1.8 billion. He keeps losing it. He's not losing it. What's happening is that money is being diverted into weapons. We know now that Natural Blue Resources is that penny stock company. Again, a governor of New Mexico, a guy named Anaya, A-N-A-Y, is investing that money. Again, he goes all the way back to Iran-Contra for this kind of New Mexico energy partnership, again flying on Jeff Epstein's airplane, just like Bill Richardson. He also goes to work for Bill Richardson in 2009 to reinvestment funds for Obama reinvestment, the National Recovery Act, also for weapons into Libya. So Kolomoisky is going to be a big name for us. We've gotten different, we know he's the front man for Mogilevich and the crime network. We know that Schmitz had all these, what he calls von Steubens, that were doing this weapons buying, his intermediaries. We now believe that Teresa Grafenstein is one of those intermediaries on Capitol Hill. We believe she actually administrated the House Committee on Administration, the covert action server. Imran was the runner, or one of the Awan's, Abbas, or one of the Awan brothers is running up to Capitol Hill with Joe Biden to sync the server for the covert action service. So we're really honing in on how the weapons were purchased. It's going to be David Grange, it's going to be Osprey Global, it's going to be all the companies we've talked about. We just need to go that one level further into the John Solomon documents, the 73 PDFs, and do more entity analysis, more network analysis. Whether or not the person I met with, Deep Blackberry, was this new whistleblower, Bill Taylor, that's trying to entrap Trump in this, trying to put the quid pro quo together in the phone call and the messages, and then Ambassador Sunderland saying, I don't want to, Trump doesn't want a quid pro quo. But this Bill Taylor is pushing the quid pro quo an awful lot. Same behavior as trying to entrap me 2.5 years earlier. Same behavior. It'd be interesting to see if Jason came forward, because we do meet with the whistleblower the next day. Be interesting if Jason would just look at Bill Taylor and say, hey, is this him or is it not him? Because I don't really remember that well 2.5 years ago. 5 years, 5 hours with him, admittedly, a lot of wine along with dinner. There's a good part and a bad part with that. One is your memory fades a little bit. The good part is you're staying there a long time, and he's also drinking a lot and telling a lot of things that he shouldn't tell about different things with Libya and Syria. For instance, I'll give you a quick for instance. The war action, the actual covert action, was on the Awan Blackberries. I wouldn't know that unless it would have been for Bill Taylor or whoever it was drinking a little bit too much wine. Okay, I wouldn't know that the covert action server was at the Congress. I changed my mind briefly and said, well, it was at the White House after this story about Trump came out, but now I believe that there was two servers, and Imran was doing the sneaker net back and forth. But quickly, George Papadopoulos, Kolomoisky's got 3 different passports. He's a Ukrainian, he's a Cypriot national, and he's also a citizen of Israel. And he is the key go-between for Mogilevich and taking this kind of weapons Walmart in Ukraine and then pre-positioning the weapons into either side of Libya. The first side is done through basically Tobruk as the caching area. That's run through George Papadopoulos in Syria. The other side, though, for David Grange's plan to take Tripoli is going to be through the Quds Force, the Iranian Quds Force. Mike Flynn was correct that the takeover of Tripoli was done by the Quds Force. Again, that's Peter Strzok. So one side, Victoria Nuland doing the the Benghazi takeover, but the other side, Peter Strzok, coming in through Tunisia to take out Gaddafi with the Tripoli plan. We'll get there. We're making tremendous progress every day. Again, network analysis is the key, but Kolomoisky is going to be this linchpin to the arms cache in Cyprus. That's going to be a key connection. And he's also got this oil company named Moisky Oil. Again, does that sound like a cover? Again, one last thing is natural resources, natural blue resources, also has 5 or 6 different cutout companies that do things like quality of service for voice over IP, as well as water purification. There's 5 or 6 penny stocks that this governor of New Mexico is doing, in addition to being Bill Richardson's right-hand man, convicted of stock fraud. Paul Pelosi, 10 million shares founder, all 7 in total are indicted. Everybody pleads out, and only 2 guys end up going to prison, but 7 people in the natural resources, natural blue resources. That's all from Nationals Park here today, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.